As you said in your opening comments, now more than ever, we need to be redoubling our efforts to both speak out about the systematic violations of human rights and democracy in Iran, but also to engage our allies and to amplify the voices of democratic activists inside of Iran. This administration is firmly committed, deeply committed to promoting democracy, promoting human rights everywhere in the world. And as we see, and as you commented, all of the changes going on in the Middle East region, the repressive crackdown, continued crackdown in Iran is such a stark reminder of unfinished business that we need to be attentive to. So I want to say a few words about our speaking out, a few words about our efforts to engage multilaterally, and then what we're trying to do via the internet to amplify the voices of Iranian dissidents and activists. You've cited a number of cases in your opening statement. I could give you many more. They're in our testimony. But just to give a flavor, in February, a number of protesters were killed in Tehran. In April, more killed in ethnic Arab areas. We've paid a lot of attention to the fate of the Baha'i community, and 7 leaders of that community who had prison sentences reduced from 20 to 10 years had those sentences reinstated, the reductions reversed. People in prison are given added sentences because they send letters to their family members. Political prisoners are held with common criminals and murderers in stockyards in terrible conditions. The list goes on and on. We've seen executions this year of 135 people, including many ethnic minority prisoners. There are intense restrictions on free speech. Teachers and other workers who seek to assert their rights are repressed for doing so. Universities that teach liberal arts are deemed un-Islamic, and they've been forced to close their doors. It's really an appalling list of restrictions on everything contained in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. I want to single out a couple of other particular cases, in addition to the ones you mentioned. One is a distinguished labor leader, Mansour Osanlu, who was arrested in 2007. He suffers from a heart condition, and they repeatedly deny him medical care. Student leader, Baria Hedayat, who was arrested in 2009 for the 5th time in 4 years for being a member of the 1 Million Signatures campaign, a women's movement to change laws that discriminate against women. She faces further charges for sending a public letter describing the conditions in prison. I want to also, you mentioned Nasreen Soudete, who's also the lawyer for Shirin Ebadi. In addition to the harsh prison conditions she's suffering from, other members of Ebadi's Center for Human Rights Defenders have been jailed or barred from practicing law. The list goes on and on. President Obama, Secretary Clinton, and other senior members of the administration are constantly speaking out about these abuses, and we will continue to do so. We're also engaging, as you mentioned in your opening, in spotlighting Iran's gross violations of human rights at the UN and with our allies. We were successful in March in persuading the UN Human Rights Council to establish a special rapporteur on Iran. In June, that person will be selected and will begin monitoring and throwing more of a spotlight on what's going on. The intensity of Iran's resistance to that speaks to the importance of our doing so. And I'm very proud of the effort of our team and our government to play a leading role in really getting that resolution to be passed. We will continue to use the UN, both in Geneva and in New York, as a forum for raising these issues and for, as you say, accelerating the pressure on the regime. We've also been involved and are very aware that change in Iran and every country starts from within. And Iran has a brave, courageous population, many young people who are determined to change their destiny. and who are seeking to amplify their voices. We seek to help them. As you know, through Congress's generosity, we have spent $22 million in the last 18 months on Internet freedom programming, and just last week we've notified Congress of our intent to spend another $28 million more this spring. We're going to do that quickly, and it's in part to counter Iran's increasingly active Internet surveillance and censorship. We're supporting grants that will counter censorship technologies, increase circumvention tools in Farsi, secure mobile communications, and protect online activists against cyber attacks, which you also mentioned. We've now trained 5,000 activists worldwide, including Iranians, in cyber self-defense. And we plan to expand all of these efforts to teach democratic activists, journalists, bloggers, human rights defenders, and others how to protect their online privacy and their data so that they in turn can train others. We're also very determined and will continue to support their efforts to convey their own messages, to speak in a loud voice with each other and with the rest of the world. These are tools, but they're important tools, and they're an important part of our overall effort to try to keep pressure on the Iranian government and to make sure that people in Iran know that we haven't forgotten about them. Thank you very much.